Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you a cheap and really good gate opener motor that you can use for either a double leaf or a single leaf gate. Hi Rego, are you coming to help? So this is a Chinese gate motor, and I have to say about Chinese products that they're slowly becoming better than European made ones. I deal with quite a few brands, Valbiram, and far fewer Chinese motors come back under warranty than European-made ones. In fact, I think only one Chinese motor has ever come back. So I have to say that Chinese stuff is slowly becoming much better than European products. Today what I'm going to show you is an affordable gate opener motor. Hi, that's a Wago. Go ahead and play with it. A real tough country guy. You see he's barefoot. This is an old gate. We goalies don't really like him because he's a jerk. So if I push it hard, it's not as rigid as a closed section gate structure. And many people say that, well, you have to replace the gate leaf for this. You need a new gate. You don't need a new gate. You just need to choose the right gate motor for the right gate. And what kind of motor is this? This is a 24-volt gate opener motor, which means it is still plugged into the 220 VIC outlet. Now the mains voltage is 230 volts, but just so everyone understands, I say it's plugged into the 220. However, the motor operates on 24 volts. On one hand, this is safe because the 220 volts are not being led to the gate. And on the other hand, it allows for intensive use. So, according to its description, you can operate it continuously for 5 minutes, and only after that will the thermal protection activate. You can add an uninterruptible battery to it, so you can connect a battery and it will work even in the event of a power outage. Or, as in this case, you can also use it with a solar panel system. So, from inside the house, the 220 would have had to be brought out and routed along the wall in some neat way. For example, not in a flexible conduit, but in a cable duct, and neatly dig it along there. I actually started digging this morning when I arrived. Then the owners, Kinga and Kopani, came out, and we checked inside as well to see where we could bring the electricity through the wall, but it couldn't have been done nicely. So they suggested, what if it was solar powered instead? The orientation is perfect, so I can set up the solar panel to face exactly south. Anyway, it's rarely used in winter since we're in Balatonakali. And it's used as a holiday house, you know? And since it's used as a holiday house, and the gate is also this old-fashioned style, it's totally unnecessary to install an expensive gate motor. Look, these two bikers look really cultured. There's a power outage release in it, so in case of a technical fault or a power failure. So let's just say this is an emergency release. It's especially useful if, for some reason, the gate motor isn't working. And here you can unlock it. You can mechanically release its clutch if you insert a key there and turn it. Then you can move it by hand afterwards. All right, this is an emergency release like that. What else we can see in the box is that it comes with a mounting arm bracket. This is really good. It's much better than with some European-made products. I'll show you why in a moment. There are also various screws and pins for mounting. That's about it. What's going on? Yes, very good. It's called Wago. I'd like to say a few words about its control. Wait, Rego, let me do the video. So I'd like to say a few words about its control. Are you the control? This is the control. I've already drilled this, so a 4 times 0.75 cable is routed through. The control is really smart. I like it a lot. You can connect a bunch of accessories to it, like a keypad opener, a wireless wall switch, or as you'll see, I'm going to connect an RC2 universal receiver so that they can control this gate with the remote from the house in Pest as well. It has a separate input for opening, another for closing, and you can also control an alarm or lighting with a separate button. It is recommended for gate leaves up to 350 kilograms. So the first step is to decide where you want to place the motor, since everything will be mounted to this. First, I transfer this level onto the postkön, because obviously one side of the motor will be attached to the fixed gate post and the other to the gate leaf. So first of all, I transfer the level. That's done. After this, it's really simple. Measure up 2 centimeters upwards so that the motor will have the proper slope. And once that's done, that will be the top of the bracket. I place it at the edge here and secure it with a screw. We set it level. So once it's up, we just weld it. I'd also like to add that the real clever thing about this motor is that you don't need to program it. So I'll just power it up, press the button, and it will work. So you don't have to do anything, maybe just set the wing delay. But apart from that, there's no need to program the motor time, though. That's a huge advantage. Let me show you one more thing that makes me really like this motor. And that is, you can mount this bracket up at several different angles. As you can see, there are a bunch of holes, so you can adjust the bracket, the mounting brackets tab. So it's not fixed like with other brands. If you run into any difficulties along the way, you can adjust it. This has actually gotten me out of trouble before now. And I was able to install gates in really impossible places. So even when the pivot point was in a totally awkward or bummer spot, I managed to do it with this. So now I'm going to mount it like this by default. It even comes with factory supplied screws. So let's go. So the bracket is mounted. Now let's bring the pin. There's a thin one and a thick one. The thin one goes in the back here, the thick one on the other side, and at this point you can already move it by hand. This rubber stopper that comes with it from the factory is very stiff, hard rubber, so it won't fall apart over time. And its other advantage is that it doesn't scratch the underside of the car. It doesn't cause any damage. So this is where we stand for now. And next comes attaching it to the gate. First, I'll put on the little tab that goes there. We'll also check the level to see if we have the proper slope. So as you can see, we have the slope, so the engine tilts in that direction. This is important so that water doesn't flow back here. Right now, this dust and water sealing ring is pretty tight from the factory, but obviously it will wear out over time. But if you make sure to give it a slope like this, then you won't have any problems with it later on. The next step is to push the motor arm together. So I open the gate to the point where I want it to open. Let's say up to here. I'll fasten this bracket and we'll see if it closes. I'm putting it on like this because this way the motor itself acts as the stopper. And when I close the gate, it just goes all the way. Pretty cool. Very nice. All right, I'll weld this on too. Well, so far it's been going pretty quickly, right? Let's see how it opens. Oops, the camera is in the way. Pretty cool, it's totally fine. It opens really well. It closes really well too. Now the same setup will be done. On the other side, once this is finished. So once I've tack welded the other side as well, then comes the wiring, and I'll show you how to program it, or rather how you actually don't even need to program it. The coffee was delicious. I've installed the other motor arm as well, and now let's move on to the wiring for the motor that's farther away. It really doesn't matter in which order you connect it for now. I'll explain why in just a moment. Or rather, you'll see for yourselves in a second. These are the connection points for the motor. You see, this is motor 1 and this is motor 2. The Chinese have done it a bit strangely because usually motor number 1 is the one that opens first. But in this case, it's the other way around. Here, motor 1 is the one that closes first. Let's turn things around. You'll connect to motor 1, the motor that will start second, okay? The gate leaf that needs to open first will go into M2. So this is the leaf that opens second for us. I'm going to put this one into M1. So you connect the cables. For now, it doesn't matter at all which cable you connect where. You'll find out soon enough whether the motor's rotation direction is correct. The next step is to open the gate to the halfway position. How to? Okay, turn it back. The mechanism has engaged. Great. Now I'll give it power, and we'll check if the motors are rotating in the right direction. The main thing is that when you press the remote control button, both wings should open. If either of them closes instead, then we'll swap the cables there. By the way, the remote controls are already programmed, so we don't need to bother with that anymore. And both of them are opening. Great. Okay, what still needs to be set is the wing delay. So both wings can't open or close at the same time, because then they'd get stuck together, and you can adjust both the closing and opening wing delay separately on this as well. That's good. Well, as you can see, there's no need to program the remote control anymore. By the way, it's really simple, and there's a Hungarian manual included, so you'll be able to do it easily by following that. What would have happened if the motors were spinning in the wrong direction? In that case, you just swap the cables. All right, what I'm going to do now is set the wing delay. Menu P7 is for the opening direction, and P8 is for the closing direction. So, how do we do the programming? Well, there's a function or button labeled Fun. You have to press and hold it for a long time. You press it for about 10 seconds, and Piro will appear. There's a plus and minus sign here, and you can use these to navigate between the menu items, up and down. If you want to enter the selected menu item, you press the function button again. Now I want to set the wing delay. By default, it's set to 0. But I can change this up to 10 seconds. For us, 2 will be enough now. Once I've selected the right value, I press the Fun button again. Now comes P8. This will be for closing. Let's set this to 2 as well. Good. Done. And if you want to exit the menu, you just press and hold the button again. I've set the wing delay. I haven't changed anything else. I didn't even have to program the remote controls. And now if I press the button right here, this is what happens. Okay, it reaches the end position, hums a little, applies the closing torque, that is the tensioning, and then stops. All right? So this is really tight. I press the close button. You can see the wing delay, right? It slows down by itself. You get it? So that's it. It hums a little, not even for long. And that's all. That was all, the programming. Not much. And we're done. By default, if I press the other button, only one wing will open. So this is already factory programmed as well. You see, this is the single wing opening. Done. Okay. And that's it. Well, this is really good. This is really good. The remote control can actually be programmed very easily. This is a reliable piece. I've actually been testing it for 1.5 years, almost 2 years now. And only after that did I come out with this video. So, when you see something from me, you can pretty much be sure that it's already a tested, tried and true piece. Okay? So if you're watching the channel, I'm not going to show you any crappy stuff. Only things I already have experience with. We're done, but I'm not packing up just yet. Next, I'm going to connect an RC2 universal radio receiver. The point of this is so that the owners can control this gate with the remote control of their other brand of gate motor as well. That's a completely different system, but I'll be able to set it up for them so they can control both of their gates. The one in Pest and this one, the holiday home, with a single remote. If you've liked it so far, then please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it's a huge help for us. Now comes the connection of the RC2 receiver. On every control unit, you first need to look for a 24-volt output or 12 volts. This control unit has both 12 and 24-volt outputs. That's incredible. It's really, really good. This is a good control unit, you know. We really like it. So let's go ahead and connect the radio receiver. It's written on this little gadget. Which one is the 12 or 24 volt? As you know, the positive is red and the negative is black. Always pay attention to this. It will be included in the control unit. For us, here, in this terminal block, it's the 3rd and 4th slots. This will be the power supply. So here we have our 24 volts. It's already wired. There's an antenna as well. So we don't have to mess around with connecting it. Okay, so the power supply is set. Now all that's left is to find the contact on the controller. That, if you short it with a cable, the gate will operate. You'll also find this in the controller's manual. One of the wires will be really easy to find. That's the COM. Here it is, the white one, the COM. And on controllers it's usually labeled as COM as well. COM as in common, meaning shared. By the way, this is another good solution. It's written under the terminal blocks what each one is. So you don't have to figure it out yourself. You don't need to take out the manual. You can simply see what's written there. So that's pretty much all there is to the wiring. And as you can see, there are 2 types of remote controls here besides the factory one. This one will definitely work, and we'll check this other one in a moment. So what you do is press the Learn button, the top one. In English that means teaching. You press it and you'll see a faint blue LED light up inside. Press and hold the remote control on and look, the gate is already working. That's all there is to it. So the compatibility chart, that is the list of remote controls that this RC2 supports, is available on the Pakuhu website. So you can check it there. So with this little accessory unit, I can also program other types of remote controls to it. And with that, I'm pretty much done. The next step will be installing the solar panel. I'm back. Now I'm going to install the solar panels along with the battery, charge controller, and everything else. So the gate will now be powered by solar energy. First, before I start the installation, I'll show you what I'm going to put up. There will be 2 solar panels. Each of them has a power output of 30 watts, 37 volts, and 0.84 amps, a PWM charge controller. This is a cheap type, but that's all that's needed here. There are also 2 12-volt, 8-amp-hour batteries. These are the screws and mounting brackets for the solar panel. I will also install a junction box, where the batteries and the charge controller will be placed. As I mentioned before, this will be used as a holiday house. Or rather, it is being used as one, so they spend little time here in the winter. The orientation is excellent, so the sun shines from over there, and that's exactly the direction the solar panels will be facing. So this is how it will be installed. So if they wanted to use it in winter as well, though it could easily be done, even without additional batteries or solar panels. Come on, take a look at how I install it. The first step is to drill in the brackets. Now I'm going to attach the solar panel. This requires a bit of imagination. Here on the table I'll put the counterpart pieces of the bracket onto it. These are them, these little tabs. You can attach them in several positions, depending on how high you want the solar panel to be. The solar panels are installed. I'm having a bit of trouble speaking now because it's insanely hot. Obviously, if you're installing solar panels, you're out in the sun, so just take a look. The brackets are up. They're fixed and screwed in place. Really awesome. The next step is to do the wiring. So the electricity generated by the solar panel will be routed to the junction box. Okay, here it's clear which is the positive and which is the negative. Terminal, the outputs. So we'll take those to the junction box. We just need to figure out how much wiring we need. So first I'll mount the box, and only then will I do the wiring. It's done. It turned out well. So take a look. The panel is up. It's wired, and the cable is routed very neatly. Here on the fence post, we didn't need to use a conduit, which would look really ugly, and the charge controller is also connected. As you can see, the solar panel is charging nicely. Right now it's showing 26.4, and that's even though it's almost in the shade. By the way, before it was in the shade, the voltage was 39 something. So that's really good. It's true that it's already in the shade, but this fully meets the usage requirements. By the way, the tree can be thinned out, so that's great, really great. Actually, I don't even know what time it is. For 2 or 3 hours the sun shines on it from the morning all summer long, so from spring to autumn it won't run out of power. And let's see if it works. Haha, thank you very much. It opens nicely. Well, you see, I don't know who cares about what's going on with those numbers, but take a look. The batteries weren't fully charged, but they were at the same voltage level, so the solar panel will charge them up nicely. Let's try a start as well. I said, let's start. All right, the voltage will drop a little when the motor applies the initial torque. You see, 20, not even half a volt. At most, maybe not even that, just 4/10. Here are the batteries inside. 2 batteries. You can close the door here nicely, but it's hard to do with one hand. And that's about it, okay? Well, my suggestion to you is that if you have to do a lot of wiring, just let go of this wiring problem. Have a solar-powered gate opener made for yourselves too. Besides, it's not worth spending more money on an expensive gate motor. This Kingstar is a really good choice. I'm glad you joined me. Subscribe to the channel. If you liked it, give it a like. Bye. I'll be waiting for you next time too.